Apple, Apple, Apple. About to take my money again. What's up, guys? It's Kris here, and yeah, I don't know if you guys seen it, but Apple hosted their newest MacBook event just today, and they came swinging with this event. Yeah, we're gonna be going over the M1 Pro chip, the M1 Max chip, the 14 and the 16-inch MacBooks. So it was rumored for a while that it was gonna be called the M1X. So I guess today we find out it's called M1 Pro and M1 Max. Yeah, they released two new chips. I'm guessing it's kind of like the low end and the high end, but they're both really high end if you ask me. All right, so if you're looking at one of these MacBooks, if you're looking at one of the newer MacBooks, it looks like the M1 Pro is gonna cost you about $24.99. I'm in Canada. And the 16-inch is gonna run you, that one's kind of expensive, damn. So $24.99 US, so that's about $31.49 Canadian. Oh God, these start to hurt. In comparison to the M1 MacBooks, those just had the 8-core GPU, 8-core CPU, I think it was. That's actually what I've been using for the past couple of months. I recently sold off my MacBook 16-inch in order to just get on M1, get familiar with it. Mainly just sold the 16-inch just because I knew when the new MacBooks were gonna get released, I wasn't gonna be able to sell this at all. So you might be wondering, like, which MacBook do you get? Like, which one is best for you? Do you really need the extra GPU? Do you really need the bigger space? And ultimately, that's kind of like what I want to break down, kind of like my own experiences. So with the 16-inch, so I'm actually coming from a 16-inch MacBook going down to a 13-inch MacBook. And I can honestly say I do miss the screen real estate a bit. It's not as nice not having like a bigger timeline, bigger screen real estate, but my main feature for getting a smaller laptop was mainly for its portability. The 16-inch was a little beefier, and so it was a little tougher to lug around. Using it in like my bed, on the couch, bring it to the kitchen. It was just a lot more bulkier in comparison to a 13-inch. So right now, yeah, I'm using the 13-inch MacBook Air, just the base model. Honestly, I could say that this machine is a lot faster than you think, especially for the price point. Did I need to get the newest MacBook? I mean, no one really needs the newest MacBook, but I got it anyways. So yeah, I went ahead and got the baseline 14-inch MacBook, and if the basic Air, just the baseline Air 8-core, I think it was like 8 and 7-core GPU, CPU, if that was able to get me, past 4K video editing, using Lightroom, using Photoshop, then I think the baseline MacBook 14-inch, so the M1 Pro, this is gonna be way more than enough for me. So for students, I mean, if you're a student, maybe the M1s are still the best choice, unless you really want, like a faster, better graphics processor or in like a CPU, GPU. I don't really know what those things mean, but I just know they make it faster. But for like a casual user, if you're not really doing heavy, intensive like video editing, photo editing, I still think that the M1s are more than enough for what you guys need. Honestly, just with myself, like I work a lot with video editing, a lot with photo editing, and sometimes the 8 gig RAM I have in the M1 Air, you kind of see its speed, like throttle, it kind of slows down, like the overall workflow of what I'm doing. And so that's just kind of like why I ultimately wanted to go with the more powerful M1 Pro. But to be honest, it's been able to keep up with video editing, 4K editing. So having 16 gigs of RAM, for me, I think that's plenty. And things that I'm glad to get back are obviously one, the SD card slot. So if you're creative, you're gonna love this because having the SD card slot just means you don't have the dongles anymore. Those things were kind of annoying, having to be on the go. And if you wanted to, upload photos to your computer, you had to use a dongle. So I'm just glad that the dongle's gone. We get back the HDMI port. MagSafe's back. What they did say is I think you could actually charge with MagSafe, but you could also charge with USB-C or the Thunderbolt port. It looks like, yeah, they brought back the notch, or they didn't bring it back, but they brought it to the MacBooks. It's not as bad as what you'd think. I mean, from first glance, if you're someone that hated the iPhone notch, I don't think you would hate this as much. I mean, it's actually adding more screen to the computer. So like, I believe, yeah, right here, you're gonna see that it's got the file or the menu bar right on the notch. And so it doesn't really get in the way of any of your like videos or like if you're watching something, if you're browsing the internet, it actually gives you more space. So it'll just put the menu bar on the top. And so you have, I guess, a little more screen real estate when you wanna use like, I don't know, whatever you wanna put on your screen. The keyboard's got a major redesign. They got rid of the touch bar. I'm really indifferent on that. Like, I don't really mind as much. Going back to the Air, or going to the Air right now, I actually liked having the physical keys. Just, I don't know. It wasn't really like a game changer to me, the touch bar. And the cool thing is, like, I guess I wouldn't really benefit, but you could actually use 2 displays now with the M1 MacBooks. I know with the M1, just the M1 normal M1s from last year, you could only connect to 1 external display. So right now, yeah, you could actually connect it to up to 2 displays. But if you guys are out there, you're looking to get a MacBook, I'd say you're perfectly fine going with the baseline model. I mean, obviously I don't have it right now, so I can't really speak on that, but just judging by like the cores, the processors, how much faster it is comparison to the M1. If I was able to get by with 4K editing, heavy, sometimes I'm using like HDR photos in Lightroom, just blending like 5 high-res raw photos into one, I think it'll be just fine with the baseline 24-inch. And like I said, the reasons why I didn't go with the 16-inch was basically for the size, portability, and just ease of use. Right now, you're no longer sacrificing performance for size. You could actually have the exact same configurations with a 16 and a 14-inch model. The storage, so I don't really go with too much storage. I just kind of go with the 500 gigs. I know like there's people out there that you know max it out, get 2 terabytes, but I actually run a lot of my stuff off of SSDs or external SSDs, so I don't really benefit much from having more space. So yeah, if you're looking to get the M1 Max chip in the 14-inch, the lowest configuration you can get looks like it's gonna be the $650 just to get the M1 Max chip, which gives you 10 cores as opposed to the 8 cores for the CPU, and holy crap, 24 core GPU. What the hell?
Damn.
That's a lot. For me, like being someone that still does quite a bit of video editing, I'm not really getting into like the complex, like using like a lot of video LUTs, a lot of effects, a lot of keying, or like just the extra things you would need, some text templates or anything like that. I didn't really experience too much slowdown with the M1. And so I'm guessing my experience with the M1 Pro will be a lot better. I think for myself, getting the 14-inch was perfect because I don't need, you know, like the 16-inch screen where like if I'm upstairs, like I'm probably not editing upstairs. The odd occasion I will edit like away from my desk, but just having that, you know, lighter computer, having a smaller footprint on the desk, I thought that was a little more what I needed for myself. But yeah, if you're just someone like me, like I'm just a regular dude, if I'm being completely honest. I don't do much more than the average person would. Maybe I'll edit, you know, more videos and I'll edit more photos than the average person, but for myself, getting the 24 or getting the 14-inch version, M1 Pro, that's more than enough for myself right there. But I'm pretty pumped, you know, like it's also got a new FaceTime camera. Yeah, so I'm definitely excited for these MacBooks. It looks like they're very promising. If it's gonna be anything like the M1s from the last year's models and all of that, yeah, no, I've got no doubt that the newest ones now they're just gonna be insanely fast, not having to worry about, you know, like the spinning wheel of death and all that. So I'm pumped. You know, I get it next Tuesday, hopefully. They're telling me it's estimated Tuesday, so we'll see. Yeah, let me know in the comments below if you guys plan on getting this MacBook. If you're not getting the MacBook, reasons why you're not getting it. But yeah, to conclude, yeah, I'm pretty pumped for this. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to try it. I'm Kris, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.